Hello everyone, how's it going? Billy Ballgame here, back with another video. On this channel, I'm just a dude who loves baseball and loves to talk about baseball cards. But today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to talk about baseball cards today. Today I'm going to talk about my non-baseball graded cards that I currently have in my collection. So some of you that have been around the channel for a while know that I have changed the name of my channel. And initially, when I started my channel, it started as STL Puckhead. And I changed it over the summer just because, my channel had started to grow and hockey wasn't really going to be the focus of my channel. Baseball was. So I wanted a name that spoke to that a little bit more. But there was a point in my life where I would have considered hockey to be my favorite sport. And for a long period of about maybe, 10, 12 years or so, I pretty much just focused on hockey cards. But I was buying boxes and ripping packs and buying the occasional set and stuff like that. So surprisingly, from a channel that used to be named STL Puckhead, I don't have a lot of graded hockey cards. Again, just simply because I was ripping boxes and packs. And by the time the pandemic had rolled around and grading exploded in popularity, by that point in time, I had pretty much already switched back to being focused on baseball. So I'm going to go ahead and start showing you some cards and talking to you about them. So I'll go ahead and go with hockey first. So here are 4 graded cards that I currently have in my collection that are hockey cards. Now, I have a lot that I'm going to grade at some point. You can see here in the corner of this shelf, those are all hockey boxes. I bought a whole lot of boxes of this first year of Upper Deck hockey. To me, again, with all my collecting, there's a lot of nostalgia that's tied to that set specifically for me. Sorry, I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. This is quality YouTube right here, folks. Nothing but the best from this channel. Bear with me. Sorry about that. So yeah, those, and that didn't even do anything, did it? But yeah, I've ripped a whole lot of, junk wax hockey boxes over the last few years. And I've got a whole lot of like Upper Deck Yager rookie cards, Ed Belfour, Jeremy Roenick, Mike Modano, like that rookie year of cards. I've got a whole lot of those that I want to grade. And eventually that's going to be a lot of what becomes bulk excess in my collection as I start paring down and hopefully setting up at shows and selling some cards to increase my purchasing power or my monthly collecting budget. So, all right, enough running my mouth. Let's go look at some cards now. So this one is one of the first graded cards that I ever bought, along with the 2 King Griffey Juniors, and there's another one that I'm going to show. And I bought this at the shop in Colorado that I talk about quite a bit on my channel. I never opened these hockey cards back in the day, so for us, where I lived, you couldn't find hockey cards. We didn't have a shop around us that carried hockey cards. I probably could have found them if I would have gone into some shops in St. Louis. But we were never able to get our hands on hockey cards until the 90-91 year when Upper Deck came in, Pro Set came in, Score came in. So there were more hockey cards during the junk wax era. And that's finally when I was able to start getting my hands on hockey cards. So I saw this in the shop in Colorado. It was pretty cheap. Ray Bourque is just one of the all-time greatest defensemen in the history of the NHL. So I went ahead and picked this up. I think it was like, I don't know, to $10 back then. And I still have it. I just think it's a cool card. It's not really that valuable, but I love this set. This is Yzerman's rookie is in this set, and I just really like those cards. I've looked over the years many times at full sets to maybe pick up and get an Yzerman rookie and some of that stuff. But here's another one. This is Marcel Dionne. This is one I bought a while ago off of eBay just because I saw it and thought it was cool and it was cheap. So this one is actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is Bernie Federko's rookie or Mike Bossie's rookie are in these sets. And again, I just liked the card. Marcel Dionne was just a great offensive player. And this is a 78 tops in an 8. Again, just another cheap card. Just kind of a random purchase. And some of these, especially once I get into football, are kind of random. So this one was the first one, if I'm not mistaken, that I bought in Colorado along with the 2 Griffey rookies. And you can imagine me growing up as a St. Louis Blues fan and discovering hockey at about 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, and I just fell in love with it. And then for many years, hockey and baseball were my favorite sports. And like Brett Hull was the St. Louis Blues in the late 80s, early 90s. And so for me, this was a huge card growing up. I found it in that shop in Colorado. I think it was $25. And went ahead and bought it. So this is the Topps Brett Hull rookie. And then I also have his OPC rookie. Let's see, in probably 2009 or 10, I bought a complete set of 88, 89 OPC, or 87, 88, whichever year it is. And this came out of that set. So I just had to send it in because, again, it's a Brett Hull rookie. It was a huge card growing up. Neither one of these have huge value in 8s. But, again, they're just some of the most iconic rookie cards for me, being a St. Louis Blues fan as a kid and growing up thinking Brett Hull was the greatest player in the history of hockey. So those are my 4 graded hockey cards. So I'll go ahead and do baseball or basketball next. And then I'll finish up with football. And football is actually the one I have the most cards in. And none of these cards are amazing. None of these cards are super valuable. They're just random kind of basketball and football cards that I've picked up, over the years. Really, since I started buying graded cards consistently, somewhat consistently, 2018, 2019. So here's a Shaquille O'Neal rookie that I picked up. This card has declined tremendously in value since the pandemic. But I can't remember. I think I've got 40 or 50 bucks into this card, something like that. But I remember at one point in time that this in a 9 had shot up to like $200 or $300. Like, it was insane for what this card actually is. And his gold rookie, I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000 at one point. So they've come down a lot. But again, Shaquille O'Neal toward my later years of high school was just massive. He was as big as it got, pretty much, other than Michael Jordan back then. And then here's the 1990 Fleer Magic Johnson. And again, this year, along with the hoops, I'm going to show you 89 hoops. These are the first basketball cards that I ever bought as a kid because, again, we couldn't find them anywhere. And then everything kind of exploded in, 88 or 89. And then we could find, hockey, basketball, and football with more regularity. Because before this, I think I had bought maybe a couple packs of football cards in 87 that I don't even have anymore. So 87 Topps Football was the first non-baseball card that I was able to find packs of. So here's the 89 Hoops Jordan. I picked this up off of eBay a while back. I have another one of this that I have from a box that I bought that I think is probably better than this, that I'm going to send in to get graded at some point. But to me, this was like, when I think of Michael Jordan cards, this is what I think of, because this is the first Michael Jordan card that I ever pulled out of a pack, and the first Michael Jordan card that I ever had when I was a kid. So for me, there are a lot of memories tied to this card, even though it's not super valuable, but it's a way cool card. And then this was also a big one back in the day. This is Shaquille O'Neal's 92 Fleer Ultra Rookie. Again, not a big card, but a lot of nostalgia tied to it for me. Sorry, I'm trying to get some of the glare off of this. I turned my light down a little bit, but I think it's just too close to my camera. Let me turn it down a little bit more. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So, yeah, that's in a 9. And again, not a lot of value there. Just, I remember ripping these packs, hunting for that card when those came out back then. So again, just a lot of memories tied to that card. And then here's the Fleer Larry Bird. Larry Bird was kind of my guy growing up. I remember, I can't remember if it was NBC or ABC. Back in the early to mid 80s, they had a lot of basketball games, NBA games on at about noon or 11 on Saturday mornings. And pretty much the Lakers and Celtics were as big a matchup as it got back then. And the Lakers and Larry Bird kind of became it for me in basketball there for a long time. I was a huge Larry Bird fan. And this next one is just, again, another big iconic card from the junk wax era, of just one of the biggest dudes in the hobby in this time. Before Shaquille O'Neal came in the league, really it was Michael Jordan and David Robinson is what you were looking for when you ripped these packs. And again, not a lot of value there, but this one's in a 9. I picked this one up from Chris at a card show. I was actually hanging out with him. I can't remember if I set up at the show with him or not, but saw this in his display case and had to grab it, because for some reason I opened a lot of these cards, a lot of these packs back then, but I was never able to pull this card for some reason. So to me, this was always one that I was hunting for around my, I don't know, freshman year of high school or so. And then this one was the card that everybody wanted out of this hoop set. And so this one I pulled out of a box that I bought not too long ago and ripped. And I sent this one in and it got a 9.5. And I'm super stoked to have this card. And really it's probably worth about 40 or 50 bucks, and that's it. But just the memories of collecting these cards, like one of my best friends at the time was huge into basketball, and so him and I bought a lot of these packs and ripped them together, looking for Robinsons and Jordans and Dominique Wilkins. There are just so many memories tied to this set. And then we'd hang out at his house and play basketball all day. And then this one's one that I picked up a couple years ago. I bought a collection from a friend of mine. It was a small collection, but this was in it. And so I sent it in and got it graded. And I just think these are really cool cards. Of course, the Kobe out of this set is, much more valuable. But to me, this is super cool. So once I picked it up, I had to send it in I had to send it in to get graded. Sorry, I've got text flashing across my screen as I'm trying to talk. I can't do two things at once. So that's it for the basketball cards. And again, so there aren't a whole lot of non-baseball cards in my collection. But again, some of these bigger rookie cards and stuff like that, I would like to add. Like, I love hockey, but I'm not going to do a Brett Hull player run or anything like that. So for me, for these other sports, it's pretty much just about the rookie cards for me. So football, here we go. So I bought this one off a buddy of mine off of Instagram. When I actually started an Instagram, I think I started it before I started YouTube. I don't remember. And then a guy, Roland, on Instagram, him and I hit it off pretty early on. He was a teacher in Indiana. So him and I would buy cards off of him pretty much. I don't think I sold him any. And this is one that I picked up from him for probably 15, 20 bucks. But again, just a huge card from back in those days. Now this one's a little funky. Here's a 80 Topps Ken Stabler in a PSA 5.5. Now, why would I buy that card? But I bought that card because it was part of a lot with this Phil Simms rookie card, and it was super cheap. So I went ahead and bought it for the Phil Simms rookie card. Now, Phil Simms isn't a Hall of Famer, but he won a Super Bowl, was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL in the 80s and early 90s. So I just wanted his rookie card. And then here's one, again, that was a huge chase card growing up and is still one of my favorite all-time players in both sports. It's a Bo Jackson rookie. My wife bought this for me a few years ago for Christmas or my birthday. But this was, again, just a huge card. And again, these 87 and 88 Topps, like, I opened a few of these packs. I didn't buy a whole lot of them, and I wasn't able to pull a Bo Jackson rookie. But I remember having a Cunningham rookie, but I have no idea what happened to him. And it's actually, in a high grade, a pretty valuable card now. So this one I bought a little while back. 83 Topps, Mike Singletary, rookie card. Again, Mike Singletary was huge. Just a huge part of the 86 Bears team that was so amazing. And pretty much him and Lawrence Taylor were some of the best defensive players in the NFL back then. So I bought this a few years ago. I think I paid $30 for it or something like that. And again, it's in an 8, but it's an 83 Topps. So those were cards that I never got to open back then. So I'm happy to add this to the collection as well. This, again, just a random pickup. I talked about this in a video recently. I just like the design of this card, 82 Topps. I'm a big fan of Terry Bradshaw. I didn't have any Terry Bradshaw cards at the time, and this was cheap, so I went ahead and grabbed it. This is the only BGS slab that I have. I have a BVG Ozzie Smith rookie card, and I think these are the only Beckett slabs that I have. So yeah, this was a total random impulse buy, picking that up. And then this I talked about before. I picked it up because it was super cheap, and I just wanted to have a card in at the time, CSG holder, because everybody was talking about how clear the slabs are and all that other stuff. I really like these flips. They're big. I think if they shrunk them down a little bit, they would look better. But then again, they changed the flips again to where it's all black and white. But really, just the acrylic on these are some of the best in the game right now. So this was a card I was able to pick up cheap just to check out a CSG. But Marshall Faulk, just one of the all-time greats. A huge part of so many great Rams teams in the late 90s that, I was as big into football then as I ever was. So for me, Marshall Faulk is just one of the greatest of all time. And then in my earlier days, I was a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. And so this is an Emmitt Smith rookie that I sent in to get graded out of a set that I bought at an antique store, and I paid $5 for it. So I sent this one in and it got an 8.5. To be honest with you, I still don't know why it graded it as an 8.5. But it is what it is. I may keep it for a while, or I may upgrade it and sell it or something. I don't know. But to me, before the Rams came into St. Louis, there for a while, from when I was younger up until I started getting into the Chiefs more, when they had Christian Okoye and Steve DeBerg and Barry Word and some great Chiefs teams, I was a Cowboys fan. And Emmitt Smith was as good as it got back then. And I had an Emmitt Smith jersey that I wore to school, stuff like that. I loved this generation of Cowboys. And then here's one. Again, I bought 5 sets of these at an antique store a few years ago and paid $5 a piece for them. I sent one of these in that came back as an SGC 9.5 that I still have. And then I sent this one in and it came back as a 10. But again, just Barry Sanders is pretty much for this generation as big as it got. His rookie cards have the most value, and all that stuff. And this card was huge back then to me. And I never really opened a whole lot of these. I opened more of the 1990 year cards. But again, I'm happy to have this in a 10. This is one of his least popular, if not his least popular rookie card, because he's in an Oklahoma State Cowboys uniform and not a Lions uniform. But to me, this is still just a super cool, iconic card from the junk wax era of football. Excuse me. And then here's one I picked up recently that I showed in last week's video that I bought off of my buddy Tom down in Jeff City. And just one of the all-time greats. One of the most iconic football rookies from the 80s. I would put this right up there with the Warren Moon and the Dan Marino and let's see, John Elway. Some of those, even maybe Joe Montana. This is definitely in the top 5 to 10 probably most iconic rookie cards for football in the 80s. And this is a card that I've been kind of chasing after for a while. So I was super happy to be able to pick this up from my buddy Tom here recently. And again, these are what I like to do in non-baseball cards is just focus on rookie cards, because again, my focus is so wide in baseball that it helps me tremendously in some of the other sports if it's more focused. And what I focus on in the other sports is just Hall of Fame rookie cards. So like I said, I have a whole lot of hockey cards at some point that I'm going to start grading, probably after the National. Once I pay myself back for all the cards that I bought off of Tom, my focus for probably a few months is going to be getting cards graded. And there are a lot of hockey cards in there. And then there are lots of cards that from the sets that I got in the basement collection. So hopefully the rest of the year I spend a lot of focus in my collection getting cards graded. And then, of course, occasionally I'll still buy cards and work on the 1960 set, because I still have a long way to go on that. But that's pretty much it. So later on tonight, I'm going to be back on my buddy Nate, After Hours Collector, on his channel with Darren from Return to Collecting, and that's going to be super cool. I look forward to doing that. Baseball has been insane. So I'll keep up as best I can while baseball is going on. And again, I ask that you be patient with me. But again, thank you everyone for your support. I just can't believe how well my channel's been doing, really in the last, since January probably. Just the increase in traffic on my channel is just mind-boggling to me. And I went over 1,000 subscribers. I planned on doing something to celebrate that, but it came so fast, and then I've been so busy with baseball. So I apologize that I've been a little bit more inconsistent with my videos and that I haven't been able to focus as much time on answering your questions and your comments and stuff like that. But today's video came directly from a few people on my channel that requested that I show some of my non-baseball cards. So I figured I would go ahead and do that. But I'm at 25 minutes, and I think that's all I have for y'all. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up with that. But again, thank you everyone for your support. I continue to be amazed at just how my channel has grown, really, especially since January. And when I started this channel, I started it, just because I love baseball and I love talking about baseball cards, and I wanted to build relationships within the hobby and relationships within YouTube. And I've been able to do that through the channel, especially in the last few months. And I just can't begin to tell you enough how much I appreciate that. But I never in my wildest dreams ever thought I would be over 1,000 subscribers to my channel, and just have the amount of views that I have had on some of my videos recently is just amazing to me. So again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And that's it. I don't think I can ramble on anymore, even if I wanted to. Well, I'm sure I could if I really wanted to. But yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap it up with that. So again, thank you everyone for your support. Until the next one, I hope everybody has a good one, and I'll talk to you later.